everybody. Hi, you're listening to Pivotal Discussion, and we take place every Friday live with the Pivotal Discussion team. We're a bit shorthanded today, but that's great because we can still have our wonderful discussion and make it pivotal. So we have, of course, our team today is Polly at Pursue Optimism on X, and also Kate Bly. You can find her also at Kate Bly on X, and then myself, Darby B, at I Am Worthwhile. And we are we are looking forward to a really great discussion today, and that is about superpowers. What superpowers can you bring to the table, or what superpowers have you always kind of questioned or thought about, or even kind of made a wonder if whether you could actually ever achieve them. And superpowers is really important. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about some of our favorite posts that have occurred throughout the week and things that we can draw attention to in terms of other profiles on X that are making really great headwaves and making good pivotal discussions. So if you're not on X, we recommend that you get on X and start a profile and then join us, and we can, or follow us, and we can help guide you on the right direction to really great and interesting posts. So here we are, and we're going to start off a little bit. Let's dig right in. And first, I just want to check in with my team, and see how they're doing. How you doing today, Polly? How's everything?
I am a bit discombobulated as usual. I've just been off. There's a guy I help in the town who's got MS, and he's a writer. He's an author, and he lost his sight at the beginning of the year. But he still wants to write, and he still wants to do things. And he's got a book that he finished just before he lost his sight, which has been published. And I'm helping him to continue writing and do the launch of that. So I've been out all morning with him. And so I've just run back through the town, hair flying, so I'm a mess. and still, in my knackered old jumper that I wore to run through the town to go and help him. I'm feeling quite exorcised about some things this week. So you may get a rant or two out of me today.
Which is always okay. If anything, we do rant sometimes, but typically when we rant, it's to vent, it's to allow us to release the bad energy and bring in the good energy. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then on occasion, we get to disagreeing sometimes, but it's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree to disagree. So there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's why it's so important to have pivotal discussion. Pivotal discussion is so important to be had nowadays. Most people dismiss it, or don't want to hear it, or just tune it out, or don't want to even like you because you have a difference of opinion from theirs. And you know what? That's not how we were ever intended to be. We were here to be able to understand somebody else's viewpoint and grow with that viewpoint, or maybe even consider it for our own. So, Kate, how are you doing today? Are you on the rant page too, or are you ready to just beautifully shine like you always do?
I'm a little drowsy. I didn't want to get up out of bed today, but that's just par for the course. That's my normal thing. But
these lazy Americans, they're always sleeping. Always sleeping.
Yes, because we work so hard.
No laziness for us Americans.
Yeah, we work so hard all day and all night, and we sacrifice everything, and sleep is one of the first things. So in the morning, we're just terrible. But we have our wonderful coffee, makes everything all better. Ooh. And I'm in a pretty good mood because yesterday I got to get out and explore the beautiful fall colors that are in my area this time of year. And it was just stunning. And I did share a post yesterday, but I'll have more stuff later today, some video clips and more photos and stuff. So if, that's what I've been working on lately, and it's a lot of fun. And so, I'm enjoying the wonderful nature.
And Kate, your posts are really lovely, I have to say, because you do take up the beautiful landscapes and the beautiful pieces of nature that really ground us. And it's nice to have that,
Hmm.
especially if you don't already have that, you
Yeah,
know. So
exactly.
it's really
Yeah.
great. Thank you for that too. And Polly, thank you for all your wonderful posts as well, because you add such value in flavor and in juiciness and
And this
in
week, manure.
and
This week I
manure,
added
right?
manure.
Yeah. I just love your sense of humor. You have such a great sense of humor. So keep up the good work, ladies. Okay, so let's start digging into some of these wonderful topics. So which do you want to start with? Do you want to start with some of the posts? Let's go into the posts and kind of bring out some light to some of the our cohorts on X that are posting really crucial, awesome, things. I'll start. One of the Kate, whichever one you want to put up is fine. I think save the big art one for the last, because I think that's too in depth and and yeah. So, and if anybody's out there and listening and they want to add in some comments of their own, please go to the chat and add some comments in, and we'll actually broadcast them on here and bring them into our discussion as well. So do not feel left out, because our conversation is your conversation, and not only are we here to entertain, but we're here to enlighten. So yeah. So okay, this is really interesting. Alex Utopia, if you're unfamiliar with him, is an amazing artiste. And I say it with an E on the end because he has multiple talents. And he not only is he filled with music and love, but he's also filled with amazing AI creations and knowing all about technical expertise. So I love following Alex Utopia, and his handle is at Alex Utopia on X. So he talks about in this post, which is really weird. He's found it's not a weird post, it's just really weird because it's so innovative. He found, interestingly enough, how to incorporate himself as a profile, I mean, like he literally has pulled himself into this Hedra Labs to animate himself and bring attention to him on a physical level as well as on an animated level, and it's really just fascinating. And he even um, created the audio for it as well. So have you guys seen this one yet?
You sharing that was the first time I saw it, and I can play the audio if you guys want to hear the audio.
Yeah, why
Of,
don't you do that, just so we
okay.
can we can give a little bit more context to this, because I think that's important.
Okay, so I'll get that going here.
Thank you, Kate.
A bit of exciting news today. Hedra Character 2.0 is out, which I'm using to animate myself right here. This is one step closer to the fully digitalized Alex Utopia I always envisioned. And the new model is much better than the old one. The animations are smoother, all of that. It can do different aspect ratios now, which is really appreciated. And in general, the tool is really easy to use and has a lot of options, right? You can generate images with it, stylize them. You can use the voice generator and put it all together in a little animation like this one, or you use your own images and voice as I've done today. I'm really excited about that. They also got I think they got some new pricing plans, so there should be an option for everybody, whatever you need. I think it's a great tool. This is Alex Utopia, signing off.
He has such a great voice.
Yeah, that was a really good recording. Darby, you're muted.
Wouldn't everybody love to tell me that? Most of the people who know me would love a mute button. But yeah, Alex he's just, not only is his voice so amazing, it's one of those voices that everybody could be talking in the room, and when they hear him, they all kind of stop and listen, because he's makes such an impact on how it's just such a soft but yet pronounced voice, and yet his visibility is just so impactful too. So combination of them, I mean, he can read me bedtime stories anytime, I mean, that's how I feel. Just because he has such a soothing voice. And I don't mean that any other way, guys. Sorry. But yeah, and Alex Utopia, if you're not following him, please do. And also, just so you know, if you see us live being broadcast on X, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on any of the other channels, please feel free to comment in the comment feed, and we will discuss that online, and we'll discuss it. We'll give you a little credit so you get a little more visibility too. And that's always important, is helping you get more visibility in your channel. So the other thing is too, that we would love for you to repost the space wherever you are, and help us get a little more visibility, because we do have crucial subject matter, and you never know who wants to hear it. So anyway, here we are. So that was my one take for this week that I really thought was amazing. And anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about the incorporation of a physical with a animated with a audio merging in terms of a video, you should follow him, Alex Utopia, at Alex Utopia on X. Polly or Kate, who wants to go next?
Polly can go next. I have her ready.
My first one is my rant.
Well, I think we should start with the rant, don't you think? Although I can't hear you too well.
Is this the correct one?
Can you hear me? Yeah, that's the one. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
yes.
me?
Yes.
So everyone knows, and anyone who knows me knows, that Elon Musk is my superhero. Because I just think he's terribly, terribly handsome. But putting that aside, I'm thoroughly annoyed because his superpower, which is extraordinary, is creating all of these incredible tools that actually add value. And they are amazing. A month ago, we're hearing about the fact that Boeing have messed up and they've stranded astronauts in space, and everyone goes, "Oh, Elon Musk, save us." And he says, "Yeah, okay, cool, no problem, I'll save you." And then things like this happen, and this is the most extraordinary, awful event. I cannot imagine what all of these people are going through in Georgia, and is it North Carolina, where they've been really badly hit. And everyone goes, "Elon, will you sort out all the communications?" And he says, "Yes, of course I will." And he saves everyone. And free speech is being threatened. And, everyone goes, "Elon, save us." And he says, "Okay." And he puts his money where his mouth is, and he saves us. And he does this time and time and time again. And then your president comes out and says, "Well, of course, he's done that because I asked him to." And you're going, "No, he hasn't. Actually, no. He would have done that anyway, because even though you hunt him down and you have a go at him and you set lawyers onto him and you stop him doing his job by putting barriers in the place and putting the fish people in the way of Starship and doing all of this, every single time somebody actually needs something useful, because he did not make his billions on the stock market or something pointless. He actually made it creating tools that actually make a difference to society. Every time something happens, all those people who have spent years slagging him off come back to him and say, "Oh, but actually, will you save us anyway?" And every single time he says yes. Because his superpower is not just his brilliant engineering or his brilliant ability to put together these incredible teams who all add their own ideas into it and make it even better. And his superpower is not just in having a vision that nobody else has to actually grow and create these things, but it is also to give a shit. Excuse my language. I wasn't going to use bad language today in my rant, but I am, because I'm so cross. I'm so cross coming out in defense of him, because quite frankly, he steps up every single time. He stepped up when it was Maui. He stepped up now. He stepped up with the astronauts. He steps up with speech. He does it every single time. And I am so cross that not one person has just said, do you know what? Let's just stop with all of the lawfare. Let's stop saying what a terrible human he is. Mark Cuban came out the other day. This is the last bit of my rant. Mark Cuban came out the other day and was saying, well, you're supporting this person for president, and I don't care which side of the thing you're on. He was like, if you support him, he's not going to do you any favors. And Elon Musk said, that's fine. I'm not asking for favors. This is just what I believe is right. And Mark Cuban made himself look stupid and Elon Musk look even better. But my God, get off the man's back. Let him do his job, because his job is saving lives. And when people went back to him and said, thank you so much, he said, let me know if there's anything else I can do. And if you ask me, that is a superpower. And I think he's amazing. And I think people should get off his back. Rant over, ladies.
Wow.
I was feeling really cross about it.
That was the nicest crossness I've ever seen or heard. I mean, cross. You're very cross. I love it. She says, I'm so cross. And it sounds like she's just having lunch or something, you know. I mean, I'm really cross, you know. I can't do that. I'm like, I am mad. You know, I can't be as nice as you are, Polly. It shows all over me. I love how you have such a nice way of being cross. You do. And you know what? It's probably more effective than me being mad. So, well, you know what? I think you bring up some really valid points here. I think, you know, the fact that, you know, people that offer good work, when other people come at them, there's a reason they come at them. And it's not normally because of the person that's offering the good work. It's normally for a personal intention or agenda on the person that's fussing. So realistically, it's the same way with me. When somebody comes at me, it's because I'm doing something right. It's because I am irritating someone who is doing wrong. Hey, Becky, how you doing, love? Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, so it's that's how I look at it, because anybody who knows me on a deep level, you know, who knows my heart, knows that I am always coming from a place of love when I make a decision about something. It's either the love for people that I'm dealing with, or it's the love for a bigger picture, or it's the love for how I am being represented and my family is being represented, my integrity. So those things are so important to all of us. And I think when we have those people that just are derogatory towards us or trying to shut us down, there's a reason they're trying to shut us down. And typically it's not about us. It's always about their bad agenda. So anyway, so I'm sorry. I know. I
have thoughts on this too, and
go ahead.
Yeah, because the problem with celebrities is they're all want to help, but they don't want to come across as I don't know, because you know what happened in Maui, and then you know Oprah tried to help, and everyone lashed out, and it's because they start with money, right? And in here. Elon is just delivering goods directly to people and getting it there. And so that approach, everyone just really responds to so much better than, okay, we're going to start a fund, and then you have to apply to get the money, and then wait 30 days. And then, well, we have to hire all these people and for $300,000 a year to distribute the money. And that's what people are responding to, I think, mostly when celebrities try to get involved. Because like if Mark Cuban like loaded up a huge cargo plane with supplies and then landed it somewhere where people could come and get it, like I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? But so like there are ways to do this for people who have lots of money. And yeah, donating is great, but sometimes it is just like actually going there and doing what you can. And like I was very close to some people in Maui during the fires. So what I'm seeing here and the response is not shocking to me because that's how it goes. So you know, I have a lot to say on that, but I don't, you know, I don't want to make it a show about that. I do have another a post to feature from my list that it features some accounts that have been very helpful, just independent people who have just been on the ground that you can donate directly to, and they just go to the store and buy what people need and bring it to them, which is going to be harder and harder to do. The more FEMA gets involved, the more harder they make it to do that kind of thing. And so that's the reality of it, because basically once they're in the control of an area, they're responsible for everything that goes in and out of there. So it's not that they don't want people to get stuff that they need. It's just their job, and it's unfortunate, you know? So yeah, do you want to talk about that a little more? Or?
No, well, yeah, what I was just going to say is, you know, what he's done, and it's about people actually, you know, yes, those people on the ground who are doing things, they are what he described as ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and I think that's amazing. What he does is he creates real practical tools that make a difference to society. And what bugs me is because it's practical, it's pragmatic. What he does is he goes, oh, we need to sort out communications. There's the communications sorted out, you know, and it really is a sort of click of the fingers. And but that's because he's invested his entire life into creating practical solutions. And what makes me really cross is all of the people who have done nothing to create practical solutions for anything, because what they do is they act and they make lots of money, or they make money on the stock market, or they make money doing whatever it is they're doing. And actually, when it comes down to real added value to humanity in whatever form, and those guys on the ground are doing more than Oprah and any of the others all combined, because all they do is they talk and they make sure that their hair is right and they get their lighting okay and all the rest of it. But actually, he is one of the few people at the top of the tree who just sees a problem and solves it. And all of those other people spend all of their time talking about what a terrible human he is. And that's what makes me cross. I'm like, fine, don't do it. Nobody's telling you you have to do it. You can go and sit in your ivory tower and buy your £20,000 handbag and talk about how terrible it is. You know, Ricky Gervais was lovely. He said, I can't remember which disaster. It was a disaster had happened, and Beyonce sent love and prayers, and Ricky Gervais posted online, feel like a complete prat now. I only sent money. Because he was like
Oh, he is so good. He's one of my favorite accounts on here. He is so funny on
yeah,
X. He's
he's
like no
so brilliant.
censorship, sweet, you know.
He just cuts straight through, doesn't he? And just gets to the heart of it. And this is my thing. Elon Musk, Ricky Gervais, it doesn't matter who you're talking about. Ricky Gervais cuts through humor and cuts through all of the shit to the real truth of the situation. Elon Musk cuts through the problem, goes, oh, there's a problem, let's fix it. And everyone else sits around going, oh, he's so horrible because he bought X. Going, yeah, he did. And look at the amazing things he's doing with that. And look at the amazing things he's doing with Starlink. And then who was that senator who came out saying Starlink is you know, too much of a monopoly? Well, maybe if you made it easier to do these things, then, you know, SpaceX are quite happy to put other people's bloody satellites up into space. They've done it plenty of
Ridiculous
times.
monopoly. That's what's the monopoly? The wires coming to the house. I mean, there's only one company
Exactly.
that does that.
Yeah, but actually,
many-
if they made
and how many of them are given away in times of catastrophe? I mean, he gives them away.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean
He
he's
does.
creating money on his, he's not creating money for his company in that respect. He's actually donating them as a business, and that's not, yeah.
And this was my thing, in Australia, he was out in Australia, he was being interviewed, and they had huge, massive problems with energy. And he was being interviewed, and the woman said, there are people who are having to choose between heating and eating, as there are in this country. And he was so sure, he was actually quite upset by it. You could see he was sort of welling up. And so he was like, this is ridiculous. And he posted online, this is insane. This makes no sense whatsoever. You've got all of this natural, sun. Why is energy a problem in a place like Australia? And this Australian billionaire challenged him. He said, well, create a battery that solves the problem. And so this energy company came in and said, we'll pay for it, but if it takes you longer than 100 days, we get it free, because they clearly thought it was going to take longer than 100 days. Tesla did it in 63 days. And they not only did it, they solved a problem, and the energy issues went away because he cut through the issues. So I'm sorry, but every single person who is on here whinging about Elon Musk and his money can quite frankly kiss my beautiful behind, because I am just not interested anymore. They're all wrong. He's amazing. His superpowers are incredible. And he is the one person that I see right now delivering not just hope, but actual pragmatic, real problem solving. And I think he's amazing. And he's sexy, and he has beautiful hands on top of all of that, which, is not really a consideration when it comes to problem solving, but it just is for me.
Oh, Polly, your beautiful ass is wonderful.
and being an inspiration for people too.
What'd you say, Kate?
And he's being an inspiration for people too. You know, which is a huge thing, a role model in that kind of role. And you can say, oh, he makes silly jokes and all this stuff, but that just humanizes somebody and, more relatable, and say, hey, I'm not that different from him. I shared that meme, Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give a little example of something that I probably have said it on past broadcasts, but I was walking into work one day, and I have to pass a bus stop. And as I have to pass City Hall and a bus stop. And while I was walking, I always say hello to everybody. I always look them right in the eyes and say hello, because I don't know what kind of day they're having. And the last thing in the world I want them to do is feel miserable about themselves. Maybe they're not seen or heard. So I look right at them and I say, hello, good morning. And so this one guy was kind of flailing his arms and being kind of like a pointer, type of dog. And I said to him, what's wrong? Are you okay? And he said, that's so-and-so from CBS Morning News. And I said, who, what? And he said, that's so-and-so on the morning news. And I said, okay. And I said, what's the big deal? And he said, what do you mean, what's the big deal? And I said, you could be him too. And he just looked at me funny. And then it's like the light bulb went off. And I said, you have every capacity to be that person too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he went, huh. And he goes, thank you. And I was like, okay. I said, now go do it. I kind of walked away. I was just like, hey. And then it's even more weird, because I think later on I was leaving for the day, and I said, hello, how you doing, to this one guy. And he said, you are so beautiful. And I was like, I was caught off guard, because I was like, Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I'm expecting to do it the other way around, not have it come back to me, but it was cool. It was really a nice thing. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome. I love that story. Yeah, you shared that before, but it's
yeah.
so good. It's such a good one to just remind people of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all can be our own superpower. We are all
Mhm.
here for a reason. There's a reason we're not gone yet.
Mhm.
There's a reason that we're here. So let's figure it out. Let's figure out what we have the intensity and the capacity for in terms of making ourselves useful in this day and age to help get us through whatever is going on in this world. And it
Mhm.
doesn't have to, every little thing we do reflects on someone else somewhere else.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it doesn't matter whether you know them or you don't know them. It's an energy. It transports, and it's a, I mean, I've always said, no matter what we do, that energy is going to be so impactful to somebody else. And we gotta help them get through whatever they're going through, whether we know them or not. So anyway, all right, well,
Yeah.
let's get back.
See, she's
This is a
going
perfect.
into a rant now. It's not just me.
Well, you started it, Polly.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to share. It is related to, whoops, okay, what did I do? Hold on. Here it is. It is related to the flooding and terrible tragedy in North Carolina and Tennessee and Georgia, that area. So this person, Chris Hall, is a storm chaser, and this is a great community to get involved with and follow on X, and then wherever you are on social media, YouTube, everywhere, because these are independent people who they're passionate about weather and forecasting and meteorology. They may not be meteorologists, a lot of them are, and they do a lot to notify the public. They do live streams, and they also post. So it's a great accounts to just be looped into, and find out about these things. So all these accounts were being very vocal about the potential for rain in that area. And, everyone relies on the mainstream media for a lot of things. So this is just another way to get an independent resource for, weather, like, of all things. Like, you think, oh, that's something that, why would that be something that we have to be concerned about? They have the weather on the news, so let's just follow that. Well, these people will vocalize things in local areas that maybe you might not hear about. So anyway, this guy is one of the top guys, and he is on the ground in that area. And
What's
he's
his name, Kate? I can't see the screen. I'm not wearing my glasses.
it's Chris Hall.
Chris Hall.
Chris Hall, y'all, is his account, and he he was on the ground. He bought up all the Starlinks in like Tennessee or something and brought them there before, they were there like as soon as it happened, because they all saw this coming and were ready to act, So he's been doing this, and people donate to him. He's a fairly big YouTube channel. So this is someone that if you want to donate directly to someone doing something, this is one account, but there's many, many like him. And this one particularly, I want to share because he's talking about going to get an RV in Maine that someone donated, going to bring it down so someone has a place to live, right? And then that made me think like, oh, this is an actual cool idea of donating an RV. So if you have an RV and you want to donate it, because this is something that could help people like right away, just having a roof over their head. And they are in the South, right? But they are in the mountains of the Southern Appalachian Mountains. So with fall comes cooler weather. It's not exactly the best place to be if you don't have good shelter. So like tents are not probably a good option for these people. Like an RV would be much safer. So I wanted to bring attention to, yes, the storm chasers on X, a great community of people to start following, to just stay in the know. And they're all over the world. It's a very popular community all over the world. So you can find the ones in your location. And they do a lot of like tornadoes and hurricanes, and they keep you up to date with any severe weather. But this emergency RV, it looks like it's from a Facebook post or Instagram. I'm not sure. You can, if you're interested, you have an RV that's just sitting around and you think it might be able to help, and you want to donate, it looks like this is a good organization to do it through. I haven't, verified anything, but I do, vouch for these people that are involved with it. So they have, it looks like Facebook to me that they are on, and place to donate if you have something. So I wanted to just bring some attention to that, because that's a superpower, like Darby was talking about, of just doing what you can with what you have. And this person, he's a meteorologist, an expert at reading weather and maps and all this stuff. And he live streams and shares that information with the public, what he knows, and warns people. And then once the disaster happens, he goes there because he has a huge audience, huge following that donates. And he uses that money to go to Walmart, fill up his car, and then bring it to the people so that they have what they need right away, before even emergency responders can get there a lot of the time. So anyway, that's my rant on that.
What an amazing, amazing guy. And, I mean, I have to say, the first I'd ever heard of storm chasers was through some Hollywood movie, because we don't really have them here, because, it's
wet again. It's wet
because you're not a target. Yeah, you're not a target for weather. You're not a target for weather warfare, allegedly.
we get weather, but not to the extremes of yours. I mean, we still talk about a tornado that we had in 1988 because that's how often they happen.
That's precisely my point. I mean, it's like nobody's targeting you. So
no,
I mean,
so we don't have the same weather patterns
doesn't
that you
apply
do
anymore. So
exactly.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying allegedly. I mean,
exactly, I know, but I didn't even know that they existed. And I think it was like, I don't know, Twister or something that I saw them in first. And I was like, wow, what a cool job. And then you start actually looking at what they're doing. It's lots and lots and lots of stats and facts and figures. I mean, it's way beyond me when it comes to the maths and working all of this stuff out. It's very scientific. But I mean, I did find this guy. He actually commented because he was struggling to get the Starlinks that he'd bought there the first day up and running, because it was all having to go on his credit card. And he'd put that online, and Elon Musk said, it's okay, we're just going to turn that off. You won't need to pay. Just get people on there. Awesome. Which was, again, amazing. But it was this guy who brought that to his attention. And so I did start following him, and he, what the work they're doing is just brilliant. And it goes back to that thing that I said earlier of ordinary people choosing to do extraordinary things.
I just followed him too.
Yeah, I just got outed that I wasn't following him, but I see all the posts because I'm following all these guys.
Well, Kate, you might have been following him, and it might have just gotten, there's sometimes things happen, so if anything, I just followed him too. And I appreciate the fact that you introduced us to him, because it's people like that, yes, they mean something. And I want to be a part of my world, and I want to be able to streamline that. I mean, to introduce them to my world,
Yeah.
So if that makes sense.
They are nothing short of extraordinary, and the work that they do, and I mean, I honestly, the stuff that they go and deal with is really hard. It's really difficult being in those areas, because people are really at the worst times at the point of their lives, and they're just amazing. So yeah, I think we're all on board with this one.
Yeah. So and I was happy to feature something that people can do that isn't, because money is wonderful, money is great, But I love the idea is if you have an RV that's just sitting around, you don't use it, or you want to get a new one or whatever, and you were thinking of donating a large sum of money, this is something that you could donate that would actually like help someone immediately, because you don't know where that money really is going to end up. And just think about that. Something that you gave to somebody is now a family is like living in while they try and get back on their feet. I mean, it's an
And as
incredible
you
thought.
say, a lot of these big organizations, they sound good. I've spent many years working in charity, and a lot of the really big ones, they sound really good. And then you start looking into it and you think, why are they earning that much? I worked in very small organizations, but these people are earning huge money. And if you look at the amount of money based on the dollar that is actually going physically to create the support that people need, it's much, much smaller than you would think. And it's really, that now saying that, I am a huge, huge supporter of charity. But if it were me, I would be looking at small community-driven organizations who are delivering direct.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's some other really good on the ground organizations. World Kitchen, I think, is another one. They were there immediately. They pay attention to this stuff like the storm chasers do. They know when they need to act, and they can mobilize fast. And all they do is make hot meals for people and sandwiches for people that are there. They set up a station, and you can go there and just get the food and no questions asked. And so there's a few of these organizations that are very good at what they do, that are worth supporting. But yeah, do your research.
In fact, if I remember correctly, I think it was the World Kitchen that lost some of their members when in the shelling and the bombing at Ukraine. It was either
Right. They're in
Ukraine or
war
Israel.
areas too. Yeah.
Yeah, they lost some of their very important people at I think it was Israel. Because they went in to help feed people, and before the caravan could get there, unfortunately, they lost some. So that's tragic. So yes, they probably could utilize some help as well. For those that are.
You know what? Some years ago, I met this guy at a party in London. I was actually there taking donations, and really lovely guy. And he sent me a message. It was just before all those girls were kidnapped. Where was that? Was it? No, it wasn't Kenya. It was where all those 300 girls kidnapped.
I think, was it Kenya?
Was it Kenya? I can't remember. Anyway,
familiar.
They were all these girls were kidnapped, and he sent me a message, and he was quite a religious man and really sweet. And we'd met because he was making a donation to support the veterans that I was working with. And he sent me a message, and he said, when things like that happen, he said, I'm starting to feel like that, like, my faith is unfounded because these things are so wrong. And of course, speaking to me about God and faith is I'm probably not at the top of the tree of choices that people would make to talk about their faith. But I went back to him and I said, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective, because these bad things happen all the time. That's just the world. That's the life. That's the planet. That's where we live. But I said, look at all of the people who have literally stood up from their jobs and said, I'm going to help. Look at all of the people. And there were loads. There were doctors in America who were literally leaving their jobs and walking out. I knew soldiers here who were getting on planes just to go and help to find all of these schoolgirls. And it was, I said, you're seeing it from the wrong perspective. Bad things are never going to stop happening. This sort of dreamlike world of unicorns and rainbows doesn't exist. It's not realistic. It's never going to happen. It doesn't matter how many sort of medical treatments we create, people will always get sick. It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter how many times we deal with natural disasters will always happen. But And it doesn't matter how many times we tell people to be kind, people will do bad things. But it's the response to those in which you see the goodness of humanity. And you know, I'm sitting there going, I can't believe I'm telling, you know, talking about faith because it's not my thing. But and he came back and you're absolutely right, and you've given me the kick I needed to stop feeling, you know, down on myself. But it's true, these things are always going to happen. But when you see people just doing something, it could be anything. You see someone on the street. My older son was doing an art project in Norwich, and he saw a guy who was homeless, who was a bit hungry, and he went over and he had a little bit of pocket money. He was only 15, 16 at the time, and went and bought the guy a McDonald's. That is doing something. It may not be healthy. It may not be loads of vegetables. It may not be perfect, but he put a meal on someone's table just for one day.
And he did what he could do with the resources he had.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's beautiful.
You know, and so there's a, you know, some of us can only do one little thing, but go and do it. Don't just sit there whinging about other people who are doing good stuff. Go and do something yourself.
Yep, exactly. We can all do something small and contribute for sure.
So then let's go back to Polly on this then, segueing into that. What would be your number one superpower? Aside from knowing Elon Musk.
Yeah, direct line to Elon, she is now.
Look, Showman spilled her water, sorry.
Yeah, no. My number one superpower. Do you know, I was having this conversation with my son, and I'm going to talk about him in a minute because this is about superpowers. But he said to me, "What superpower would you want, Mum?" And I said to know when people are lying, because I'm really bad at reading people. I'm so bad at it, and I'm so rubbish at knowing when I'm, you know, I just am. I'd love it when people just say, actually, do you know, you're being really annoying. Can you shut up? I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do that. That's great. I can do that. But I can't. But I can't tell when people are annoyed. Do you know what I mean? I just don't have that ability to read people. And so I would love, and actually I posted something the other day because I was having a bit of a rant about politicians. I've been on a bit of a rant all week, really. I was having a rant about politicians, and I was like, wouldn't it be lovely if every single politician had to be given something that forced truth for their whole campaign and the whole time they were in office? I don't care what they're doing outside of it. I don't care if they're having affairs, if they're, you know, I don't care. But while they're in office, I would love for them to have the requirement to be honest, because I can only tell if someone is lying if I know the truth already. You know, if I know that, you know, Joe Biden did not call Elon Musk and say, rescue me on this, I can tell that he's lying because I know he's lying. I know that's not true. But what I can't do is tell when someone standing in front of me is saying, no, it's all fine. And actually it's rubbish. It's not all fine. And I don't have that superpower. So mine would be to know. And Rex said to me, he's such a darling. Rex said to me, oh, no, that's a horrible one, Mummy. And I said, why? And he said, well, because then you'd know how much everybody didn't like you. And I don't want to know that.
Oh, no, that's not true. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, no, that's fair enough.
You gotta love Rex. You gotta love Rex. He always says it like it is.
Everybody doesn't like me.
Force.
He wasn't meaning everybody doesn't like me, but because he's autistic. Because he's autistic and because he struggles as well with that, he's like, I don't want to know that because I'm weird and I have a weird brain and I have a weird response to everything, I don't want to know that everybody thinks I'm weird. I don't want the truth. I'm quite happy living in my little world where it doesn't matter if everybody hates me. So
See,
he
I
was
see it
talking
differently.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
I see it differently. I see us as being weird and he's not.
No, he's definitely weird, but it's his
No,
superpower. I'm gonna
no.
talk about his superpower in a minute. But
Okay.
you know, but that was my thing. I just want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's a
I
good one.
always want to know the truth.
Rob dropped his superpower in the chat, and you're welcome. Anyone watching can put theirs in. And
Hi, Rob.
very interesting. You know, he's a very wonderful artist. His intense desire to be remembered when I die, and it drives his work and motivations. That's very very interesting.
That's an intense one.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, you're working on it with a great X account. So
how would that be? How would we make that happen?
What's Rob's whatchamacallit?
What's its handle?
If you type in his name, he should come up. He there's not, I don't know if I think it's the spelling of his handle is very similar to his name. But he does beautiful artwork. So I think that is what he is talking about, is his art. I think he wants to, I'm not speaking for you, Rob. You can, of course, add exactly what you mean, but I'm assuming he's talking about his art.
I found it. It's I am Rob, ROBB, Scott, SCOTT. And he is an artist. He creates everything using pencils to AI. Collaborations include Michael Jordan, Sidney Crosby, NHL, NBA, and Baseball America. I love being a dad. Wow. And he's in Canada, actually. His handle is at I am Rob with 2 B's, Scott with 2 T's. I am. The I, just like mine. The letter M, Rob with 2 B's, Scott. Yeah.
And he added a little explanation for us here. I'm afraid to not feel like my life means, or okay, Earl, not enough coffee to get this sentence out. I'm afraid to feel like my life means little. I don't know when I came about that. It's driven me since I was a child. So something that's been driving him his whole life. Very interesting. Yeah. So that's Rob's a great follow here on X. He's always putting out very inspirational content of the stuff he's creating. So I am always looking for more artists and especially artists who put out their process of how they do things is, I think, very important to be doing, because we can all, especially with AI and everything, we can all see something beautiful and appreciate it. But
can I say, because I've just been looking at Rob, because I didn't follow you yet, Rob. I now do. And I'm in pursuit of optimism. So posting "the end is nigh" is not what I want. So can you do me something?
Don't spit, Kate. Don't spit.
Can you do me something optimistic, please? Because your art is quite beautiful. It really is. I'm looking at it now and it's stunning. But I don't want to hear "the end is nigh" because I'm desperately trying to find some optimism in my life.
Prevent that, right?
So I'd like something optimistic and beautiful and not telling me what I already know.
There you go. So there's a commission for you, Rob. And I just want to bring some attention here. Dayton is in the chat watching the stream, and if you've been following Dayton, he's on the ground down there in North Carolina, I believe, and has been showing footage in his area where he is, which is quite devastating to see. So if you want to, again, the more people you follow that are in these areas of disaster, the better, because you get to see it with your own eyes, right?
Hi, Dayton. We love you. Be safe.
Yes.
And thank you for your good work, Dayton.
And Nilo is here. Nilo.
Is it Nilo or Nilo? I never know.
I think it's Nilo. I always do it backwards every time.
Potato. No.
And
I
Rob,
wanted to
back
say
to
that
you, Polly.
I did follow Rob also.
So
Rob said to me, Polly, watch the videos and sketches I created with my son. It's all love. Brilliant. I love all love. I'm all about the love, Rob. Oh, look, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the one of the little boy there. That's gorgeous.
And then
Dayton sent us a heart. We love you too, Dayton.
Yeah.
Dayton is just an overall
amazing.
superpower. Dayton is just superpower. I mean, he's superpower to help. That's what he does. He is just always a helpful, loving person. So thank you for that, Dayton.
Yep. And anyone who's watching this elsewhere, these are all people who are on X that we know very well from talking to them in spaces. Everyone here so far, I've actually had conversations with. It's different than a lot of other social media platforms. We can actually talk to these people directly, get to know them and feel closer to them, and then see when they post something about what they're doing. It's just so much more interesting and fascinating. It's not fake. It's very authentic connections that we make here on X. So, anyone who's watching us elsewhere, that's why we're here. You can say politics all you want. This is the real reason why we're here. And Nilo shared his superpower. His superpowers right now are writing, computer programming, and entrepreneurship. So yeah, you're in the right place for that. X is a fantastic place to be there.
And computer programming right now is like the superpower. It is. I mean, if you can program, I'm so bad at programming. I've done little bits here and there when I had to, and I'm so bad at it. I'd love to be really good at it, but for me, it's like languages. It's exactly the same. I cannot learn languages unless I'm on the ground doing. Nilo. He says Nilo. It's Nilo.
I know that, but I always I always get it with Nilo.
Thank you for clarifying.
You know what, Nilo? I'm
like
still going to say it wrong every time. I'm still going to say it wrong every time.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But yeah, if you can program, you are a superhero from start to finish. So, and you're going to be busy. So I'm desperately trying to persuade all of my kids to do it, and none of them want to.
Yeah, it's a tough one because how long will it be till, the AI does it all for us? So, but you still need to understand how it all works to be able to use those tools for sure.
But when AI takes over the world and we have to fight back, we have to know.
Yes. Darby, I have your other share lined up here from Elon. Do you want to get into that, or? Yeah,
let's do that if you don't mind, because I figured it would just keep Polly on a roll, Okay, so this is really interesting. At least I thought it was. And
want me to play it? I can play it with the sound, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay, hold on. Make sure the sound's on. Okay.
My Tesla just got an update, and now it apparently can pick me up anywhere in a parking lot all by itself with no driver. All I have to do is hold a button and it comes to me. Let me show you how insane this is. If I press come to me, the car instantly starts driving by itself to me. There is nobody in that car, and I rolled down the windows to show other people, and the reactions are priceless. I mean, this guy did a double take. I've sped some of the clips up, but it does about 6 miles an hour at its highest speed, and my car just delivered itself to me. I was kind of worried what would happen if something unexpected happened. Well, this car pulled out right in front of it while it was driving, and it didn't care. It just slowed down like no big deal. I honestly thought it would struggle with a Walmart parking lot, so I did it in a less busy area, but no, I mean, it just worked perfectly. So I tried it in a busier area, and well, it worked perfectly again. My car just drove to me by itself. That worked surprisingly well, so 100,000 likes and I'll try this in a packed Costco parking lot.
There we go.
So how cool is that? How cool is that? So Teslas
so cool.
are able to come get you, and no matter where you are, as long as with the push of your button on your phone, as long as you have it parked, it will come to you. I wonder what the range distance is, though. I wonder if it has to be within a certain amount of range. That was curious to me. And the other thing is too, I find that fascinating, especially, not knowing the traffic patterns, not knowing the weather patterns. That's amazing to me, because, there were issues with the Tesla batteries during the floods, of course, but considering that Elon's going to be making, I think, all these vehicles solar, it's like, from what I understand, he's going that solar route. So if he's going to go the solar route, how much will that be impacted by the salt water and everything else? So interestingly enough, I find a lot of this amazing, and what a step forward. And Polly, you should be read by now, just
do you know what
about...
do you know what it's really funny that you posted this, because last night I was talking to an English guy on X, and someone had posted a picture of someone in a Tesla with full self-drive, saying, would you allow a car to drive you? And everyone was going, no, definitely not. No. And I was like, the idea that the car is going to deal with parking. I'm so bad at parking. I hold my hands up. I'm really, really bad at it. I am the worst parker. I mean, you haven't tried to park until you've tried to park in my friend's car park in her house, which is teeny tiny spaces. You can't turn around in it. It's not like America over here. Think about the size of our roads. Our roads are like this compared to yours, because they were all built, all of our houses were built in the 1700s, before cars even existed, let alone trucks and Cybertrucks and things like that. And so everything is very small. There's not much in the way of space. I'm making excuses
right?
Now, obviously, for my terrible parking.
Exactly. Park a horse and buggy.
So I'm not making excuses for my terrible parking. But if a car is going to take that stress off me and just deal with it, I am so into that. I just think this is so sexy. And I want to get to the point where we don't have our own cars. We just press the button on our phone and one drives up to our door and we go where we want to, and we don't have to have our own car. That's the thing I'm waiting for. I don't want a car. I don't want the hassle of one. I don't want to have space for one. I don't have parking at my house, so I have to park at the allotments up the road where people are planting their winter cabbages, in a field. And I think this is amazing. And if I could afford a Tesla today, I would have a Tesla today. And it would be driving itself down from the allotments into my house to pick me up. I think it's the most wonderful thing. And I think the Tesla teams who work on these are nothing short of extraordinary. And just a little funny thing, Elon was being interviewed and he was talking about all of the different teams who work on these things. And there were these mats in the front. And he was like, what are these for? And the team that he was talking to, whoever they were, said, it's a safety thing. The safety team say they need them. So they're there. And he went to the safety team and was like, what are these for? And the safety team went, we don't know. The other team, I thought it was something to do with them. They need it. And it turned out they all thought each of the other teams needed these things that were in the car. So they were immediately removed. But which I just thought was a really funny little Tesla story. But these teams at Tesla are nothing short of extraordinary. And I have no doubt at all that working for Tesla and working for Elon Musk is probably a very high stress job. And in fact, I saw a story of one guy who worked there who left because it was really, really high stress. And then he went back because all other jobs were boring in comparison. So I think these Tesla guys are amazing. And the work that they're doing on solar and battery is incredible. But if a car can take over the stress of parking for me, I'm the happiest woman in the world.
All right, Kate was praying. Kate, what were you praying for?
I'm just this is yes, please. I'm begging for that because I everything to do with a vehicle is inconvenient for me. It's just
because women are more notably the worst drivers. Is that why?
No, I have a big truck, so I would not survive in Polly's neighborhood whatsoever. I would probably kill a few people just trying to get to her house to pick her up. But so I always just park in the back of the parking lot because I just don't want to deal with the people and their carts and the things, kids running around, all this stuff. So I just park in the back. That's my my hack. And then I'm in the country, so I have all the space I need.
Yeah.
But I would still love this.
I live in a little tiny Georgian market town with even my cottage is one of the newer properties in the middle of the town, and that was built in like the late 1700s. So all of the roads are like this, and they're all flint cottages. And I posted a picture to my brother-in-law at Christmas one year, and it had been snowing, and I just put out the picture of the snow, and there were no cars because there's no parking around me. So there's no cars, and it's all these old flint cottages and snow. And he said, where do you live? 1950.
Yeah. Oh, but according to you, 1950 isn't that old. I mean,
so no, exactly. So Kate's truck probably wouldn't fit down most of the roads.
No, it'd be scraping the sides of the buildings as I go by.
Yeah, how do you get a moving truck? I mean, how do you get a moving truck down there? I mean, it's just like Richard. I want to say hi to Richard, one of our wonderful, loyal listeners. Hi, Richard. Think of Roman chariots and one-way streets.
Right. Yeah, the Romans built a few of the roads there.
We have a few Roman roads around.
And can you picture Polly with the big feather and the big metal hat on? And yeah.
It would be more like a toga and
a toga and a
toga and a chalice. Yes.
Yeah. That's
more
awesome.
More cake, please.
Exactly.
No fork, no knives, right?
100% more cake. Definitely more cake.
Meanwhile, I'll be in the back. In the back seat where nobody else is allowed, and I'll be like, Chipwich. Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell me this though. So your superpower, Polly, would have been what is it you wanted to
know? The truth. The truth.
Know the truth. And Kate, what would your superpower be?
Oh boy, I've been thinking about it. I just can't even wrap my head around it, but it is something to think about for sure. I don't know.
Mine would be I'd want everyone to have integrity. Because I think if you have integrity, you're not willing to blow that. You're not willing to.
That's a good one. Empathy would be a good one. Everyone to have empathy would be lovely. Yeah. And actually listen to it.
Yeah, I think
Polly's like, no, forget that.
Having the
That's a terrible one. It's a terrible one. Too much empathy is just a bad thing.
Well, you don't have to. It's not sympathy. It's not sympathy.
You need a little bit more pragmatism and a little bit less empathy.
Yeah. Well,
that's me.
How I think of empathy is
different. You do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because you don't want just someone be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And that's how I look at sympathy. I think sympathy is more that, whereas empathy is more pragmatic and of a way of just being able to be in someone's shoes as you walk around, and relate to them somewhat, and that's all. I don't want.
Makes me crazy. And actually, the worst thing is that it really does. It makes me really cross because I'm not very good with emotion, as we all know. And when people, if I'm really upset about something, or if I'm struggling with something, hi Square Bear. If I'm struggling with something and someone is nice to me or understanding, it really upsets me. I'm like, please don't do that, because this is how I cope. I cope by being pragmatic, in control. And if you start being all empathetic and understanding, I can't get stuff done. So stop. Do you know what I mean? I don't want a hug. I don't want people care. No, just pragmatic solutions. Too much empathy in the world.
No, it's about it's just about walking around. If everyone walked around the world and just being able to understand their fellow man, that's all I mean by that. And not buying 500 bowls of soup and handing it out to people when they're sick, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
so long as it's kept
sensible. I'm with you.
So long as it's kept sensible.
Just the thoughts, that's all. Because the actions is another thing. It's just, but if we all at least think that about other people's experiences and life experiences and what got them to where they are in that moment that you see them or experience with them, that's all. That the actions is another part of it. So everyone's going to handle that differently.
Okay, I'll let you have it then.
All right. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, because sometimes it's like, look, I just want to power through. Because yes, and that's for me, it's sympathy that is the problem, because it's like that's where it can get off the rails. Because if I'm going through a hard time, I don't want someone to be like, oh, here, pat on the back, it's all going to be okay. It's like, shut up, you don't know that.
Right.
What can we do right now besides make me have some delusion? I don't need that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And also it's, I mean, that must be your British blood, Kate, because it's a very British trait to and the other one is it's anyone paying compliments.
Oh,
I don't
right.
like it. It's like, it's like, people think they're being really lovely by saying, oh, that top looks really nice on you, when you know that it doesn't.
Or, like, oh, I'm never wearing that again.
Oh, you're such a lovely person. No, I'm not, actually. It's nice to be nice. As I say on my profile, it's nice to be nice, but sometimes it's just not appropriate. I'm not that nice. I can sometimes be nice if I choose to be, but and there's this kind of I don't know, compliments are a very uncomfortable thing in this country. If someone pays someone else a compliment, it's like, ugh, why are you doing that? It's very, very
what you're trying to do is con me. I have a story you might like. I remember as a child the first time I got a compliment, because it was I didn't know what to do. I was not prepared for it. And I just kind of froze, and I was I don't know. I said, I don't know what to say. And the girl was like, oh, you just say thank you. I'm like, oh.
Oh, okay. I still don't know what to do when people say nice
thank you. That's all you have to do.
I'm just like, I just want to tell them to stop and shut up.
But that's exactly the same. I mean, Polly, you can't. Why, if they're paying you a compliment, they're recognizing something nice in you. Why would you tell them to shut up?
Terribly, because it's uncomfortable.
But that's your problem that you have to deal with.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't tell them to shut up, because that's not polite, and I believe in the social contract of good manners. So I wouldn't do that. But every single part of me internally is going, oh, please don't do that. Please don't say that. That's horrible.
I think we three share something very similar, and that's we all come from a little bit of humility, and some humbleness. And I think it's hard for all of us to receive a compliment when we're the ones that want to see the difference in someone else. We want to see the beauty in someone else. And I don't know why you're laughing, Kelly. I don't know why
because
you're
of
laughing.
what Rob just said.
Rob's gonna
Because
get
of
the
what
root
Rob just
problem.
said.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you defensive that way, Polly? You should at least say, you know what? I'll think about that. You know, and maybe, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, if my superpower is going to be see integrity in everyone, I want to be able to see the genuine, authentic person that is who they are. Then all the rest falls by the wayside. The more you see that. Go ahead,
I don't
Polly.
think it's
You
a
gotta
defense.
know. Okay.
I don't think it's a defense. I think it's that it's not something that I grew up with. Actually, the more rude someone is to you in this country, the more they like you. The nicer someone is, it's usually kind of a like, oh, that's so sweet of you. And you go, oh, great. So, you know, I've just done something really shit here. It's like, it's quite an upside down thing in this country. And, you know, to put it into perspective, my friend called me and she was, no, we were in Cambridge. We were meeting up for a weekend in Cambridge. And she's my oldest friend. We were at school together. I love her dearly. We've known each other forever. She knows everything about me. If I have a secret, I'll walk into the house where she is and she'll go, what have you done? Or what's happening? Or are you seeing so-and-so? Did you go on a date? She just knows. She's that kind of person, you know? And we were meeting up in Cambridge and she got out of the car. We were trying to park. So we're going back to the parking. We were trying to park and she's amazing in a car. She just knows how to do it. And I'm really rubbish in a car.
Right,
And we're in this tiny high-rise parking thing. And you have to go up and they're always really tight because they're trying to maximize as many cars as possible in it. So they're tiny little parking spaces. And eventually I got out of my car, which is half the size of hers. And I said, you're just going to have to park it for me. And she burst out laughing. And she said, you know, Polly, she said, you're so good at everything. You never fail at anything. It gives me real comfort to know you're really shit behind the wheel of a car, because that's something I'm better at than you are. And I was laughing and she was laughing and someone else was walking away from their car and they were like, what? And I said, don't be silly. There's loads of really good things you're amazing at. And she went, oh, you're sounding so American. Because
I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, you're gonna pick up our just way of being. That's like just a low grade niceness all the time. Yeah. And you're gonna just confuse all your friends and
I know. It's like when I went out to live in Italy for a few years when I was quite young, and I came back and I was kissing everyone on the cheek, and they were like, what are you doing? And I think it's just, I don't think it's a defense. I think it, in part, if someone says something nice to you here that is a real, like, full-on American style compliment, either they mean the absolute opposite, so it's not sincere, or they're trying too hard and there's something going on underneath it. So it's impossible to really trust it in that way. And so whenever people say anything like complimentary, like, oh, that looks really lovely on you, you think, God, I must look like shit. I'm going to have to go and change. You know, it's like
so like that, I've always been the person to say, oh, you look so nice today or whatever, just because I mean it. You know, I mean, and Square Bear, I didn't say hi to you. Hi, Square Bear. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yay! Our beautiful friend who does wonderful, wonderful spaces. at nighttime. Please join her if you haven't already. But I think it's really important to acknowledge when someone looks good or when somebody is looking their best, because too often we take the time to try to put together something, and it might not be, I mean, it might be, we might have had something planned and then all of a sudden it wasn't working out, and like 25 minutes later we're still trying things on, and it's frustrating because they don't fit us correctly at that moment. And I think sometimes to say that, you know, I made the mistake of one time saying to a lovely lady that I work with how beautiful her hair looked. And I said, "Your hair looks really beautiful. I love it up like that." And she said, "Thank you," and walked away. And by the next day, she was challenging me on why I said that to her, and that women of color had an issue with their hair on a regular basis. So why would I say that as opposed to every day prior to that, how her hair looked? And I was like, what?
What?
I was like, what are you talking about? And she was real quick to try to steer the conversation from something positive and nice to
A negative.
I didn't understand it. And I was like, no, I just meant, and I ended up in tears after like a 50-minute conversation, because I was like, that's not what I meant. I meant it in a good way. And she's like, yeah, but you're comparing it to all the other days that I wear it. And I'm like, that's not what I meant. I was just saying you look really pretty, you know. And it really made me think twice about saying anything to anybody about how their appearance is, because apparently some people are very sensitive about their hair and their appearance. And I thought to myself, I am not changing who I am for them.
No, quite right. And, you know, like Rob has just said here, his wife didn't like compliments. Do you know, I'm just going to clarify this. With my children and with the people I love the most, I am always complimentary and building them up. And if they say something nice to me, it doesn't give me that same feeling. So, like, you know, I will say to Rex, for example, my gorgeous younger son, I will say to him, "You're so handsome." And he'll go, "Yeah." Because he's heard it since he was little. And you know, when my ex would say to me, my ex-husband never did pay me a compliment in all the time we were together, I don't think. But I had an ex-boyfriend, and he would say to me the most amazing things all the time, and I never got defensive about that. I couldn't hear it enough, actually. You know, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met. Thank you. You're my world. Thank you.
Yeah, and I almost wonder with the situation like Rob is describing here, where, you know, his wife didn't like compliments, and that made him, you know, feel like he wasn't given permission to be kind and all that, which to me, it sounds like she probably did like them, but didn't know how to communicate that properly and got defensive and wasn't able to accept a compliment. And then that's, you know, the issue, because I can't even imagine being with someone that you love so dearly and them saying something nice to you and actually genuinely not liking that. Even as a woman, you know, because we can think of any kind of crazy situation we want and be like, sure, yeah. But to me, it just seems that
in a relationship or with my kids, I am the absolute opposite. I'm like, pay me the compliments. Tell me I'm the best thing you've ever met.
Right, 'cause those are the most meaningful.
Tell me how gorgeous you think I am.
Yeah, you know they're genuine, or even if they're not, they're just like, we just want to make you feel good right now. Yeah. So that's unfortunate to hear.
Yeah, and I will drink that up. Pay me a compliment.
But I wonder about those kind of people, you know, that do that. You know, they is it really something psychological in them that it's a tease, but it's a passive aggressive stance. oh, you can compliment me anytime you want, or they encourage, how does this dress look? How does this? So they encourage the interaction and the engagement, but then all of a sudden it's like, I don't want you telling me this, and that's not fair. And why are you all of a sudden being indifferent to me? It just crosses so many lines on confusing the person that isn't meant to. No, you're fine, Rob, you're fine. I find it, there are some women that are out there that do these things. And it's a control method. It's how do we control our husbands? How do we control the conversations? How do we control how we want them to be?
There are men who do it. There are men who do it as well. There are men who do it as well.
True.
Well, as I said, my ex-husband never once paid me a compliment. But if I didn't say to him something nice to him each day, my life was going to be pure hell. So there are men who do it as well. I don't think it's a gender thing. I think there are just people who like and I don't mind at all, Rob. I am an open book. I promise. My life is, I'm just like, blah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you anything. I'll answer any question unless it makes me blush. Don't go there, because I will blush. I go bright red and blotchy, and it's very, very unattractive. It's not a pretty, like, just little, brush of the cheeks. It's bright red and blotchy. So nothing that will make me blush. But I think there are people who just can't open up to that. I mean, if I fall in love with someone, I'm 100% in, and that's it. And I'm rubbish because I will
hear that, Elon?
Put in everything.
That's it.
Yeah, no, completely. Thank you very much, Rob.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the compliments. She's going to pretend like she doesn't want to hear it.
I don't. I can feel it happening.
Well, you cope with that. I'll say, I'm wondering if the wife was in a family environment where, you don't want to stand out. Like if you have, I don't know, if you have a lot of siblings, possibly standing out can cause rifts with family members. And so actually getting attention and compliments is good. So you hide yourself so you don't get those. And then like my story I shared, not even learning how to accept a compliment, like that tool, that tip was never shared with me of how to say thank you when someone is nice to me. Like that was something I never learned. So I had to discover it along the way. So I can imagine someone going through life like that and never really making that connection. Like I made that connection in that moment, so I have that memory. But it would be easy for someone just to make that connection because of something in their home life and not hearing it, right? And then not processing it. And so then you bring that into adulthood and good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right, Kate. I'm the youngest of 4, but then I have 3 stepbrothers and sisters as well. So the 7 of us all grew up together, and I was right in the middle, and never really quite fit anywhere really, because I'm also probably on the autism spectrum, and so didn't quite fit, and was very technologically minded, and they all had this sort of a different sort of approach to the world. And there's a thing when you've got that many siblings who are all fighting, nobody's ever saying anything nice to each other. You might come out in defense of somebody or something like that, but it's not like a sort of thing where, I mean, it wouldn't have occurred to my mother to say something complimentary, because that makes you big-headed and spoilt. So you don't get
and that competition thing with I mean, I just had a sister, and that was even an issue there, because if I got something that she didn't get, when she was my age, because I'm the baby, so like that dynamic is tough, especially if you don't have, I don't know, there's certain families where you're like, they're all best friends, and I like, how does that even work? I don't even know that even works, but because
do you know, I said to my friend Claire, who I told you about, the one who's really good at parking, she said to me, her other half has a family like mine where everyone's always fighting, and she said, you're both so weird. And I said, if you notice, we outnumber you, which means it's your family that's weird because you all like each other.
Yes, I'm standing behind that.
Which is exactly what I said about Rex. Sometimes I wonder if he's the normal one and we're not.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe you more and more.
I do believe that. I believe we're the ones that are the backwards equation, and he's the one that has the formula all figured out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very much. I mean, he's and I was going to talk about that. I'm going to have to go and let him in the house in a minute, but my boys are both extraordinary, and they both have amazing superpowers. And one is in the arts. He's a photographer, and he's amazing. And
is this the joke? You want to share the joke?
And his superpower is actually a dreadful one for a man to have, speaking to women. Because he grew up with a single mum, he knows how to speak to women, and women fall in love with him all the time, and it's dreadful. It's an awful superpower for a man to have, but he's actually such a nice guy. It's okay. It's in safe hands. But Rex's superpower is his autism, and not just his autism, but his 100 total acceptance of the fact that he is different. He'll sit there and I gave Kate a post that I posted, which was one of his latest jokes, because he had a real issue with complex language when he was growing up. He couldn't understand it. It took him a really long time to understand jokes, and when he started understanding them, then he started explaining them to me just to ensure that I also got them. Kind of takes the humor out of it a little bit. But now it's like his obsession, and humor and complex language and understanding how language works and sarcasm. I'll say something sometimes and he'll go, because he got it, he'll go, that was sarcasm, wasn't it, Mummy? Yes, it was, baby. And there's just this wonderful acceptance of self in him. And there's no sort of need to be something he's not. And that's him. I've got to go and let him in. Hold on.
All right. She left us with the joke. Darby, you're muted. Darby, you're muted.
Okay, so she says, my son's bedtime joke: a giraffe and a farmer walk into a bar. The giraffe lies down. The barman says to the farmer, hey, what's that lying there? The farmer replies, it's not a lion, it's a giraffe.
Oh, so boy.
Don't you love him? I just love him. He is the best. He is the best.
He's back.
Hi, Rexy.
He's back. Rex, are you going to come and say hello?
Bring us your beautiful face.
No, why?
No.
Darby wants you to come and say hello. Come and show her all the sweets you've got.
Yes, Demolition Darby said so. And we just went over your bedtime joke.
He said he has a problem with authority, so he's not going to come.
Well, I'm not your authority.
Oh, he is your son, isn't he?
My baby.
Hi, Rexy. I like how he pats her on the
You
head.
have to get down so people can see you.
Right there he is.
Hello.
Hi, handsome. How are you? What are you eating? Let's see what you're eating.
Can I have one?
No. You know why?
Why?
What's happened? No.
I didn't open the door fast enough, so he won't share his thoughts with me.
I was outside for quite a while.
Oh. No. Rexy, I love you.
No. Go on, give me a sweetie. Go on. Show me how much you love me.
No, guess what?
Give me kisses.
Why? Do you want
I
fish and
want
chips for tea?
kisses.
I'll have a sweetie then.
Guilt trip me.
I'm not guilt tripping you. I'm bribing you.
I can't be
Rexy, I just read your joke. I just read your joke online.
Darby
any
just
more
read your joke to all of our audience.
It's a lion. It's not a lion. It's a giraffe.
Go on, give me a sweetie and I'll buy you fish
I'm
and
so
chips.
glad. I don't know opposite of it. They can really try to bribe a minor.
Did you hear that?
Rex,
I just
right
said to him,
now.
if you give me one of your sweeties. I just said to him, if you give me one of your sweets, I'll buy you fish and chips for tea. And he said, and now everyone online's heard you try to bribe a minor.
Hey, Rex, what is your superpower?
What do you mean?
Any.
What if
What's
you
the
had
most
any
secret thing about
superpower in the world? What would your superpower be?
I can make a joke out of any sentence, any word. Someone said a sentence seconds after I can make a word.
I don't know if
No,
they'll have heard
no.
that. Did you hear that?
Not making a
have to
joke.
keep
Not
in
making a
there.
joke. What would your serious superpower be?
Oh, okay. Well, like what I would want.
Any superpower you would want.
Like my superpower. My superpower would be I would want everyone to have integrity.
That's not your superpower, though. That's what you want. That's not a superpower. That's just a want.
He said that's
Wait,
not
what?
a superpower, that's a want.
Well, I mean, if I had it, I'd want everybody else to have it.
That's not a superpower, is it? It's a want. You want people to have it, but it's not like your superhero. Your superpower is I want people to have hope. That's not.
So, but a superpower could be your presence enforces integrity on others.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's it.
Well, I
What would your superpower be?
Mine would be to be able to get into his pack of sweets.
Then that's so fast. Haven't got it yet. Mine would be the ability transformation, because then I could turn into anything or anyone, and like I could turn into Superman and be able to fly. I could have any. Basically, transformation is I've got every power on this planet.
Transformation into anything he wants. So an owl to go flying through the night, or Superman to have Superman's powers.
So he'd want control of what
Just turn
somebody
into
else
anything
is.
he wants.
I could turn into something and automatically have a power.
Isn't that a one?
Yours is control of what somebody else does. His is control of himself.
No.
No, because he can turn himself into an owl or a dog or another. Okay.
The ability of transformation is not a want. Well, at the moment it is. Don't you try and do that. Go over there. You've been bad. The ability of transformation, when you've got it, you can turn into anything you want. Meaning, if you turn into Superman, you can have his powers. You could turn into literally anything and have his powers. So
you could turn into an owl and fly.
Yeah. You could turn into Flash and be the fastest man on Earth.
So you want metamorphosis?
That would be quite cool. You could turn into Elon Musk and be brilliant.
Easy now, Polly.
Polly, that's borderline. That's borderline.
You're already brilliant. You're already.
You're not getting a sweet now. That's me.
You're not getting fish and chips for tea then.
That's like I got sweets you haven't.
I can go to the shop and buy them. There's my angel.
He's
with
your
his
boy.
100% acceptance of self.
He's your
my boy.
I love
with all
him.
of his issues with authority.
Yeah, we need a sound effect when he comes in. You know, when you open the door for him, like, woo! Round of applause, like in the sitcoms.
Yes, I love that. Well, so okay, so Kate, what would your superpower be?
Probably, I don't know. I'd probably go
still
old-fashioned with invisibility would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I pulled up a list of them from Grok just to see what Grok.
Right.
I pulled up a list of them from Grok
anyway, so I don't know.
And Grok, I asked for 100 of them just to see. I said 100 unconventional superpowers that steer away from traditional comic books. Okay. So I said the first one is time dilation perception, the ability to slow down or speed up personal perception of time without affecting physical aging. I thought that was kind of neat, right? So time dilation perception, that just allows you to slow up or speed up time, but yet you're not aging. Okay. And then the second one was emotional color vision. So see emotions as colors around people, just like we saw with Polly and her beet juice.
Interesting. I like how about being able to eat whatever you want? Like that would be, I'm such a glutton. I would just love that. Oh my God, so much.
That's my dream.
Right?
I'm not into all that, but I do like food, but I kind of want to see it prepared first, and I kind of want to see where it's from, and I'm a little pickier on that. And then
I could cook it, but then be able to eat the whole thing and not get fat would just be like amazing.
Do you know what's amazing?
Do
you know what's amazing?
What?
I just said to Brock, assess my account. And I said, what do you think would be the best superpower for that account? So not me, the account. And he said, insight manipulation. He said, perceive deeper truths. That's what I said I wanted mine to be.
Grok's listening. Whoa.
Influence perceptions, memory enhancement. I need memory enhancement.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And humor.
Yeah.
Grok's listening. That's a bit freaky.
Yeah, to be able to give people a sense of humor would be amazing. Yeah.
And then 3 is emotional color. I think I said that. Emotional color vision. So you see emotional color around people. And then 4 would be sound shape. Yay! You got one. And sound shape transforms sounds into physical shapes or barriers. Like, for instance, that one commercial that is an earworm that is so irritating. 1-877 cars for kids. Cars for kids.
Why are you doing this? Stop.
I know, it's annoying. It is annoying. I have heard it on TV in the commercials, and I can't get it out of my head, and it drives me insane. Seeing the medium in which we exist. How do you feel about that?
What does that mean?
Seeing the medium in which we exist. Are we in a box? Are we in?
Like, you need to come back and explain that. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I kind of get it. Seeing the medium in which we exist, meaning, are we little ants in the ground? Are we little ants in the ground, and then the world around us is the bigger world? Are we? Is this something where? I've always wondered if we were the little ants. And all the things that happen to us are.
Well, we are.
Yeah. And who's going to eat us?
We are the ants. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but
who's going to eat us?
What's the benefit of that? I don't know if that's I'd rather be.
I was just going to say something really rude then.
Go ahead, say it.
Say it.
There's no one holding you back except yourself.
Okay. It must be bad if she's not saying it. I must say, like. So I'm going to allow Polly this one.
Why don't you do this? Whisper it in my ear and I'll say it. Whisper it in my ear and I'll say it.
You put it in the private chat.
Holly!
Tell you later.
Holly!
Now
I'll say it. Okay.
I can't remember. Where did we get to on these? We've done Rex, my boys, and who's got another thing? Because I've got another 2.
I've got 5
I
from
want to encourage us
who's
to wrap
got another?
up.
Oh yeah.
At 2 hours, I want to encourage us to wrap up because I have another live stream show that I'm doing at 1:30 that I have to do some prep for. So
Kate is popular.
Yes, and that one is all about AI for beginners.
Like 4 o'clock.
And everything. So.
Yes.
But we can talk about the other ones if we, chug it along. It's fine. But
okay. So what are your other superpowers?
I think I already am like I wouldn't change a thing, just maybe money. Yay! I don't know.
I love that.
Money won't change.
Yeah, I would change money. Be able to grow the money tree, plant the quarter in the ground and have it grow into a money tree. Have that. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would like that. No, there's one I sent you, which is from Unconfined, and it is one that I love, and it's a superpower. Unconfined is one of my favorite people in the world at the moment because he's my first ever subscriber, and I just love him.
Congrats on getting that, Polly. Yes.
So I was in a space with Kate the other day and my subscriptions came through, which was really bizarre. But then what happened after that, literally an hour or so later, was Unconfined subscribed to me. So he's my first subscriber and I'm very, very excited. But what I love about his account, and I followed him for a long time anyway, and I subscribed to him, and I love his account because he is, and I think it's a real superpower, and it's one that I think I'm quite good at. I'm not as good as him, but I'm quite good at, which is just being completely open about your life. I'm not somebody who hides things. I'm not somebody who is worried, like Rob said about, I hope you don't mind me being personal. I'm more than happy to talk about anything. You have a question, I'll answer it. But Unconfined has this superpower of using his life to really be open and help other people. And he will talk openly about the difficulties in his life, the good things in his life. And I think there's a lot of people who today, particularly, who are branding themselves. Branding for me is one of the most evil words on the planet, or is becoming so very quickly, because people are branding themselves into something rather than just being themselves. And Unconfined for me is evidence that you don't have to shape yourself into something that your audience wants or that anyone else wants. And being you and being honest about your life and being open and not trying to fit yourself into a box of something that anyone else thinks you should fit into is not going to hold you back. He's got quite a big account. He's got 700,000 followers or something ridiculous, which is amazing. But it's because he's authentically him. And he doesn't pretend to be anything else. And he's sweet and he's open and he's just a terribly nice, genuine guy. Or that's how he comes across. That's what his account is to me. And I think I'd love to see more people doing that. My account is a random stream of consciousness. follow it if you like. It's lovely. I love it. I love it when people do, but it is a random stream of consciousness. And some days you'll get me bitching about politics, and other days you'll get me going, oh no, timeline cleanse. We've got to have a laugh at this donkey. And some days you'll get my boys' jokes, and sometimes you'll get me writing articles or having a rant or talking about how sexy Elon Musk is and how beautiful his bottom lip is. And that will be that is me. That is how my mind works. It's random. It's all over the place. It's a stream of consciousness. And I don't try and dress it up in a brand. And Unconfined for me is one of those. He just posts things about himself that are completely real. And so I would love to see more people moving away from their brand and moving more towards themselves and who they really are, because it's a bit of a bugbear of mine. So that is his superpower. And I think it's one that I'm pretty good at.
I love that. Very good sentiment. And yeah, I saw this post too. Again, this person I'm not following, but I see his posts in my feed all the time. So it's interesting how the algorithm works. Like, I'm not paying attention much to who I'm actually following with, but their content shows up in my feed. So I saw this post as a particularly good one. So yeah, check out his profile and give this a good read.
Unconfined with a K.
I just followed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
Yeah. Well, that's what you were saying was perfect, because that's kind of how my approach too. It's just put what you want out there and then let it just roll how it goes, and the right people will find you, really. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's this real tendency to create a veneer over yourself, but that's really, really hard to keep going.
Right.
Because
you'll get bored, you'll get sick of it.
You're confined into that sort of box, that pigeonhole that other people expect from you. It's really difficult to keep going.
Well, I have one to share here that I think is a fantastic post that we all need to watch and enjoy here. So Christopher posted this AI clips of crushing the presidential candidates. And you can go to his profile and you can actually download these. He made these available for anyone, or share it. Pick your favorite and share. And
he should have all politicians. Can I just say, you should be allowed to just pick a politician and put them in it.
Yeah. If there's a politician that you want him to crush, he will do it for you. In the let's see if I could, because someone did, I think in the replies, this one did Macron as well.
Sent him the British Prime Minister.
There's Macron.
Yeah, he needs it.
So you can.
Has anyone done the British Prime Minister?
I haven't seen that one. So yes, you can go into this post and request your favorite politician to get smushed, and he'll probably do it if he has time. So. But it's just so good, and there's sound here too.
And one that's funny, because I know another. Oh, go on.
There must be lag or something. Darby, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
No, I'm just fascinated by this.
Isn't it cool?
I'm fascinated and yet disgusted. And then I have a lawnmower guy outside. So hi, Shri.
It's quite gross viewing.
Hi, Shri.
Well, I sent you one, Kate, that I think we should end on, because it's. Oh, thank you. There's a compliments day. It's I sent one that is just one to end on with a giggle, because I sent Ricky Gervais a message following this one, and he liked it because it was.
Yeah, he did. I sent one too, and he liked it. So we can share. This, I saw this post. It's so good. Okay, let me.
I've sent him really rude ones before. But he has a superpower that we didn't know about, that is nothing to do with comedy, and it is to do with advertising. He should take over all advertising across England and America, because our worlds would be very, very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll finish with
and
this.
I think we should end on it, because it's
we'll
just
put the
so
audio
brilliant.
On and listen. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Ricky Gervais, and this is Dutch Barn Vodka. Famous vodka drinkers include Sean Connery, Joseph Stalin, and my old mate, Colin the Cuntapillar, we used to call him. He used to sleep in his car. Dead now. And loads of kids set fire to him. He went up. Dutch Barn.
And now we can look at the replies here, because ours are both going to show up at the top here.
He keeps getting his ad cancelled. Oh yeah.
So these are some great replies in here.
He keeps getting his ads cancelled in this country. They're not allowed to put them out because they're so, he says things like, Dutch Barn vodka, it'll end up killing you. Just go, what? Oh, no tweeting on vodka. No posting when you've been drinking vodka. That's a really bad idea, Light. Light of Norse just said, no vodka. I got so drunk a few days ago and then tweeted so much. Yeah, no posting when you've been drinking. It's a very bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, who's Colin that that he says, rest in peace, Colin? Who is Colin?
It's just a mate of his.
Who?
It's just a random friend that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, it's just he's just joking. Yeah.
His Dutch Barn vodka ads are some of the best advertising I've ever seen. He said in one that it was just too expensive, so if you couldn't afford it, and he named another brand to go and buy. Just go and buy that. It's 15 quid a bottle.
Yeah, follow Ricky Gervais on
so
X.
He's and his advertising approach.
Mm-hmm.
He's just the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a lag, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping over you.
I just followed him, so it was funny. I never have followed him before because I really
I
didn't.
did as well.
Yeah, sometimes his humor is above my head. So, but then again, isn't everything? Anyway. Well, okay, great, ladies. So
no, you got to go down. You got to go lower.
We've got to
his humor is lower than your head, not above it.
Oh.
No, his humor is below your brain. It's not above it. It's not intellectual. You're just too nice.
Yes, I'm too nice. And that's, I know that there was one other superpower that I thought was pretty interesting. To be able to have hindsight vision,
mm-hmm.
To be able to see what's happened within the 24 hours and be able to go back and correct it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be kind of cool. Just a thought. But anyway, well, we've talked about a lot of really great things today, ladies, and had some good laughs and recognized some really great posters on here and people on X. And there was only one that we didn't get to, and that was he's artist on here, which I think is amazing, and I think people really need to see the value in him. And that was, I don't know if you have it, but
yeah,
it's pretty brief, but he is. There you go, Justin Maynard. If you haven't seen his artwork, and believe me, his artwork is very distinguished. And it's distinguished because when you zone in on these features, you will notice that his features are all little pictures. They're all tiny pictures that create this this huge image. And it's called bias and data. And Justin has really just taken this to another level by, he used 231 unique images, and the total number of his images that he's used in this picture alone has been 46,921 plus one. So this is a fascinating skill of an artist that you don't see this that often. And to compile this much data in one photography or one piece of artwork is really just brilliant and amazing. And I want to thank Justin Maynard. I follow him regularly, and I just think everyone should follow him because he comes up with these most beautiful pieces of art. So that's all I wanted to say. And in closing, I think we've talked about a lot of really, really, really good points today, a lot of great aspects. I think we've tapped into so many things, and I want to say thank you to you both for everything you've shared and you've done, and your producing, and your the information that you've brought to light that maybe people that are listening weren't aware of. That's always important, to hear different perspectives. It's like artwork, to see exactly what part of that artwork is what it means to you. And it may not mean the same thing to everybody, but it's really a great visual, and it's a great learning experience to see where the artist is coming from, and where we may take ourselves in the future based on some of these little tidbits that we never knew about. So thank you. And does anybody want to have any closing remarks? I know I'll start with Loanne has her Beautiful Souls space on Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us for that. I do co-host for her, Loanne at Be Self Boss. Kate, you have a lot of stuff coming up. Why don't you tell us about all those things and how everybody should join you in your venture to web design and to AI?
Yeah, so later today, in just a couple of hours, I'll be doing a new live stream show with Rachel V on X. She's an AI account. So if you are in that AI world, you probably know her. And we're going to be going over very practical tools for people who were specifically gearing towards small businesses and entrepreneurs, how you can use these AI tools to just make life a little bit easier for you. So if you want to be experimenting and trying new AI tools, tune in for that. And that'll be live at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So and you can always watch the recording. Yeah, today. So just in
today.
Yeah, 2.5 hours from now. And you can find that by turning on live notifications in my profile or in hers, and you will get notified of that. So that will be a very good one. Today, we're going to go over visual marketing. So how to use these image generators that exist in a practical way, more than just like making a fun, silly image, which we all love doing. But how can you actually use that for your marketing in business and all that? So, and we're going to do for 6 weeks, and each week will be a different focus. So make sure you set off that time in your calendar for those shows, because you'll be able to learn a lot and ask your questions, of course, in the chat if something comes up. You can always watch the replays. But what's fun about the live is you can be a little interactive and get your question answered right away, which is very cool. And then my community, the collaboration station, is a place for creators to get together. And if you're interested in collaborating, you want to explore that idea a little bit more in spaces, in live streams, in posts, in artwork, in videos, in whatever you're creating, in music, you can join this community and meet other people like you. And also we have spaces. I'm going to be doing more, but currently you're doing Sunday evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that you can find pinned on my profile and set a reminder for that. And I will be adding more times throughout the week for those so that we can include more of the global community. Because I know, for example, Polly is deep in slumber, holding her cake so close. And, that's what I just imagine all the time.
For me, that's starting at like midnight.
Yeah. So I know it's not the best time for everybody.
On a Sunday night. It's like
after
Monday morning. I have to be up early.
After Calgon takes her away in her bubble bath.
If you're curious about it, join us in the space and you can find out what it's all about. And then if that's something you want to explore more, join the community and connect with the people and share what you're doing. Like I posted this live stream in the community today because this is a collaboration. It's a perfect example of how it can work. You do what you have to do to make sure that the show goes on and people show up and we have a good time and enjoy ourselves. And so thank you, Darby, for doing this, because you're the puppet master of all of this. Yes. And we're so just because if you're interested in actually doing something, putting yourself out there, you don't know where to start, something like this is the perfect way. Someone invites you to do something, you show up, you do the work, and you participate. And that's how you can get started on X and grow your account pretty quickly by being an active collaborator. So just want to put that out there. Thanks so much again, Darby, for these live streams and your spaces. It's always wonderful working with you.
Well, next week, we're going to be bringing on Kate Page. And Kate Page is very knowledgeable in.
You mean Elizabeth? Elizabeth, right?
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Kate Page. Sorry, yes, I apologize. Yes, next week we'll be bringing on Elizabeth Page, and hi, Waylon, and we'll be bringing on Elizabeth Page, and we'll bring her into some insight and pick her brain about a couple things about sociology and psychology and everyday relationship ideas. So that should be fun. And we're going to try to do that once a week on Fridays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Times. And that way, at least we get a little more branching of professional people. We can learn a little bit more how they handle these situations and what their thoughts and takes are. And that should be good. Polly, are you doing anything wonderful other than sleeping and handling your wonderful your Rexy
child? Do you know, I am currently trying to work out how I'm going to cope with my X addiction, because tomorrow morning I am taking Rex down to the Big Smoke to London we're going to meet up with his big brother, and we're going to the Science Museum. And we're going to go to a bit of a surprise, which is his brother's birthday surprise for him after the Science Museum. So we're going to have a day of science and fun things, but I'm not going to be on X. And I don't know how I'm going to cope because X calls to me, and it is very much an addiction. So I will hopefully be back Sunday, depending on how things go, to catch up with some people. But yeah, I've got the next 24 hours of no X, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, you will be missed, but I'm sure
you are like sweating, like thinking about it. Like I can't even
withdrawal. We're all going through withdrawal for you. But yeah.
I'll be on the train on the way home, hoping that Rex is too tired to talk to me, so I can just get my phone out.
Oh,
why have you been in the bathroom for an hour, Mom? On the train.
Calgon. No, you'll be fine, Polly. We believe in you. We believe in you. And the other thing is too, you might get some great stories and thoughts in your travels, with them, and get some pictures, and those pictures might be able to tell the story so that when you come back on, it'll be worthwhile.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
And the Science Museum is one of my favorite places in the world. Both my children have spent so long in the Science Museum growing up because it is such a fabulous place. When Cosmo was little and we lived in London and I had no money. I was a broke single mom. I had literally nothing. And there's another addict there. And I would take Cosmo down to the Science Museum when he was little, and they have all these explainers there who explain to kids all the stuff. And if the explainers were bored, they would spend the whole day with him. We would just spend hours wandering around the Science Museum, playing with things and pressing buttons and reading stuff. And so no, I'm really excited to go back, but because I miss the museums living so far out of London now. But yeah, I'm going to miss X.
You'll make it. We'll be there for you in spirit, So.
Yeah. You might get the odd little sort of text from me going, "Oh,
yeah.
something for me."
Give me a boost of dopamine real quick.
I can't handle it. I need Narcan. No.
Such a great stream today. So and I'm like so nervous about what I have coming up. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be nervous, Kate. You'll be fine.
I have work I have to do.
You've got this.
It's going to be amazing. Always is.
Yeah, you're right.
We believe in you, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I'm getting all American. I'm paying compliments.
You are. Well, thank you again for everyone that's joined us today on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on X, and on any other social media channels. We appreciate you. We will be back on Wednesday for our spaces on X. And not only that, but we will also continue our live feeds on Fridays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we look forward to seeing you again. Okay. Thank you for everything. And hope you have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye, everyone. And